Hello, everybody. Happy Friday evening. A little later than I expected to be here today, but hope you're having a great evening and had a great New Year's. We certainly did. I've got some relatively exciting news. It's kind of funny. I've been working on and off on this project long enough that I kind of never thought it was going to actually work, but it seems to be, which is kind of great. I cannot see any comments from you guys, which is just irritating. But I will try to watch on the main site. So I'll say hi here, and hi Mo Booty is here. So good to see you. Hope things are great. All right, so we have spent a colossal amount of time on the Intellikeys keyboards. So most of you guys know what this is. They look like this. And these have been around since, well, this version, the USB, has been around since the late 90s, I believe, maybe 2000. And these were end of life. They were bought, well, they were bought again by AbleNet. They were end of life. We asked, Alyssa Wern and a bunch of others, and I asked AbleNet to open source the drivers. They did. We recently got the Windows drivers working on Windows 10, which is great, and a lot of you guys are aware of that and happy about that. I am delighted about that. But we've got some people who want to use it on a Mac. We've got some people who want to use this tool for other things, and we've kind of gotten some really good progress. So I'm going to start with showing you where we ended up, and then I'll kind of tell you how we got here and what else is new here. I am really kind of irritated that I can't see any comments. So I guess we'll find out if there's comments later. Well, anyway, there's comment. If anybody's here, say hi, and I will keep an eye for you. I will, let's go ahead and show you kind of what is happening here. So this is the USB Intellikeys, and let me switch to a different view here. Something really simple. Here's my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and click here in this window and just start typing. I don't know, I'll just do something simple like, my name, and type my name. Strange name, but it works. Everything you would kind of expect here works. What's really kind of neat about this is I don't have a driver loaded for this Intellikeys at all. There's nothing installed on this PC that has anything to do with Intellikeys. It just works. And if I want, I can use my mouse keys. I can go up and change tabs, and you'll see it's moving my mouse around. I can, that's my work is there. If I change this, I can actually I can click here on the drag button. I can move this window around, and like all the things that you would expect this keyboard to do with the mouse and keyboard support, it kind of does. So I'll go back to the full screen on this, go back to my document, and I will hit. So I can show you more of this, but everything that you would expect here to work does. So if I hit, Control A, it'll highlight everything, and then I can delete it. Control Z will undo. Everything you expect the keyboard to do, it kind of does, which is kind of awesome. The fact that it works without, hi Beth, thank you for saying something. It's very strange that now I can see your comments on the main page, but not on this new producer thing of theirs. This works, and it works just the way you'd expect it to without a driver. It even works, for example, if you take this out and flip it over, and you put in the web access, you'll see that now if I go over here, I can hit go to, and it should let's see here. I'm sorry, my mouse is down at the top there. So if I'm here, and I want to type www, it'll type www dot Google. That's pretty safe. Google, the .com will work. It already had a .com there, so it did it twice. This slash will work, whatever. Even things like if I wanted to use things that are only on this page, like for example, if you look on this layout, the scroll up and down, here I'll do Control Tab to go here. Now I've got scroll down and scroll up. These buttons aren't on the other side, but they're here. So if I wanted to like launch Internet Explorer, it'll launch Internet Explorer, and that'll just work. If I want to print something, it will just print. Like everything you'd expect this thing to do for these two templates, it totally does. And it does it without any drivers, which is kind of cool. The real reason for doing this is actually the driver isn't technical at all. I've actually got a group of people who use this tool, and they generally use either this layout, the web layout, or the standard QWERTY layout. But these are mainly adults. A lot of them have cerebral palsy, and they use this keyboard with the overlay, the plastic key guard, to be able to communicate. And some of them use a Mac, and some of them want to use a Chromebook or a Android device or an iPad, and they can't because the drivers simply don't work with those, and they're not going to going forward. There's too much work to do that. So our motivator really came from Jefferson, a gentleman that I met at the GATE conference, and I don't remember his last name. I'm sure I could look it up. One sec, I'll tell you what his last name is. He lives in Atlanta, and 1 second. I should be able to remember his name. Jefferson Smith Bickerstaff, and he and his mom came up, and we talked at length at the GATE conference, and it was very clear that he was losing the ability to communicate because this device was no longer working on the Mac. So it reinvigorated my desire to make this work on the Mac. So if you've got it working on Windows 10, this doesn't add anything for you. But if you want to use it on another platform, this really opens up that. This doesn't care what it's plugged into. It just works. And I'll prove that in a minute. I've got a Mac. It's my old MacBook Air. I'll plug it in. I'll show you that it works. But first, I want to kind of show you how it's doing this, how we got this to work, and what is necessary to make this work. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to do too many things here. All right, so let's go ahead and show the back of this. So on the back of this, you'll see there's a little addition. So rather than having the standard blue cord that comes out here and goes directly to your computer, which I probably have one laying around here somewhere, what this does is it uses a special cord here. I'll show you another one directly. So I bought these on AliExpress for I think $1 or $2 a piece. This has got a standard printer cable. Let me get a better view here. So on one end it has what's called a B, a full-size B connector. So this is what goes into your printer usually. And on the other end, where you normally have a standard A cord, it's got a micro B cord. So the reason these cords exist is if you want to use your iPad or more specifically your Android devices, and you want to be able to print something, this would let you do that. So there's a short period of time where this was necessary, and these wires were made. They're still available, and they're getting a little bit more less common because the people who are using on-the-go devices are going to USB-C. But they're still available. They're not expensive. So I bought a bunch of these, and you'll see that it comes out of the standard USB cord, and this goes into a little chip right here, which, let's see if I can get you a good picture of. All right. So on the right, on this side right here, they're both Trinket M0s from Adafruit. This one is This one is running Arduino, and it's using software written by a programmer named GD Sports on GitHub, who took the driver that we made open source that AbleNet released, and then we hosted on GitHub. He took that code and he reverse engineered the protocol and grabbed the firmware off of it so that you can actually listen to events coming from the board. So GD made that work and made a library so that we could actually access it. Then what I did over here was I wrote a bunch of CircuitPython code. And this could be done in Arduino. It's just CircuitPython is a much faster prototyping language. What this thing does is it actually periodically asks this guy which buttons are pressed or which cells are pressed. It responds back and tells it which cells are pressed. This guy maps it to the correct keys based on which overlays in it, and then out the green wire goes normal keyboard code. So this guy is pretending to be a normal USB keyboard, and he's doing all the translation between that and the non-standard Intellikeys code. Now, I've known this was possible for a while, but I haven't had the time to make it work, and it kind of fell off of my agenda once the drivers were running on Windows 10. Meeting Jefferson changed that. It definitely put it much higher on my agenda, and thank you, Jefferson, for making sure I don't drop that. I went ahead and made a PCB board that connects these cleanly. I'm going to work with Roaring Riptide, the robotics team, to make these as they're needed for people who want to use the Intellikeys either on a platform that is not supported, or in a way that is not standard. And we'll see other non-standard ways later, probably not tonight. Backing off, just to kind of show this. This does need a case. Right now, when I made the board, I made sure there were mounting holes. But this needs like a nice little case that sets it down here in this little recessed area so it doesn't get damaged. Total cost of this chip, about $8, so 16. Another one for the board, 17, maybe 3 for the cables. Let's say $20. So let's say $20 in cost plus labor to put it together and program it. Obviously, time doesn't count; it never does. But about $20 in hardware to make this work. So I'm gonna take a look and see if I've got any questions. I don't know that I will have any questions tonight. I'm willing to bet that all of my responses on this will come after the weekend is over. But I thought I'd go ahead and make the video and get this out there. Let me see here. Just people liking it and sharing it. Well, that's always nice. All right. So let me show this working on a Mac. I think that's something that Jefferson is going to care most about. I'm not entirely sure how to set this up. So let me turn off my self here, give myself some room. Like I said, I have a very old Mac here that very old. Well, it hasn't been used in years. How about that? I'm not sure how old it is. Probably I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. So I have a MacBook Pro, which went to sleep on me. So hopefully it will wake back up. All right, and hopefully remember my old password on it. All right, so how am I going to show this? Well, first things first, let's unplug the green wire from my main computer. And we will plug it into the Mac right here. And it did give me a complaint earlier that basically said, I don't know what kind of keyboard you have. Do you want to continue? And I said yes. And it seemed fine with that. So here is my keyboard and my Mac. I guess I'm not entirely sure how to show this. I guess I can type certain letters. So if you watch up here, I don't know, I'll type caps lock, QWERTY, and you'll see right there let's clean this up. And I don't know, this TH. All right, this just works. Shift. This just works. And if you want to see me move a mouse, I can move a mouse. So you'll see the mouse coming down here. I'm using the buttons on the Intellikeys to do that. You're not going to be able to see this both at the same time. You're going to have to trust me a little bit that this really does work. So yes, the mouse is disappearing every time it enters into a typing area, but it's right there. So totally works. There are some things that I made that I would have to change, let's put it that way, in order to truly make this work. The biggest one is that when I programmed this, let me focus that. So when I programmed this keyboard, I made a mistake. I made a choice without thinking about Macs at all, in that I programmed this button right here to be the Windows button. And that needs to be the command button, because on Mac, that means it needs to be the command button. So I need to change that and fix it. That's minor. And it really should be the command button. That actually is the same symbol as this command button right here. So I just didn't realize what I was doing. So that's wrong. And then some of the shortcuts. So not really on this page so much, but on this one, these shortcuts won't work on the Mac because the keystrokes are different. So I would need to program those differently to do a search, to go to the home page, to print and things like that. They'd all need to be Command P, Command L, right? All these others would change a little bit. So yeah, I hope this is clear on what this does and what it doesn't. I am going to have a lot of fun with this. So I can't wait to talk to Alyssa about it. I'm sure she's going to be excited about it. I have bought enough parts, just to kind of show this again. I bought enough parts to make, I think about 40 of these. And they're over here. So yeah, I'll show you kind of what they are. I'm not going to pull these all out. So what I bought was I bought about 50 of these trinkets. I guess I can make about 25 of them. And then I'd have to get more trinkets. But I got 50 of the boards, and I got 50 of the cables. So I don't know. We can make 20 to 50 of these based on what I bought. As far as labor goes to do the manufacturing, I'm going to co-opt a robotics team in Gainesville. I think they're one of the best AT groups we have on this, between them and Gravy and Team 135 in Indiana. Those are the best we've got. And Alyssa Warren happens to be right there in Gainesville with them, so she can help coordinate getting these out. So if this is something that that you think would help, post and tell us. Tell us you need one of these. I will be very happy to get this out to you. I need a couple people to test it. I think Jefferson is my first tester. I'm sure he will be happy to do that. And I do need one thing. Well, I don't need it, but what I'd like, one thing, I would like to get some key guards for this. I've priced making them. I can make them. They'll run about $15, including shipping and everything, which I think is too high for me to just whip up a whole bunch of them. But I'd like to actually get some to measure some of the original ones. I'd like to see how they fit into the clips here and here. It seems like they just kind of slide in. There's like a little angle to this. I know some of the original Intellikeys folks are in the group, so I'd like some information about that. But and then we do have one bug. Basically, the lights, if I keep pressing this, it should go on and off nonstop. But every third time, there you go, it misses. Every once in a while, it will miss the command to change the lights. Like that one didn't go off. So I got to figure that out. The control is the same way. The alt is the same way. I mean, all of them work, but not not consistently. So I got to figure that out. I don't think that's going to stop anybody from using this tool effectively. So hi, Janet. Good to see you. Glad you joined us. And hi, Lori. How are you? Long time no see. You just left here. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I'm not claiming that this is going to do everything the Intellikeys did. In fact, it's probably worth talking about what it does do and what it doesn't. What this guy does is it takes the standard overlays. In fact, it only takes two of the standard overlays, the QWERTY and the web access one. So this is the web access, the QWERTY's on the back. And it makes them available on any device. We could add other overlays. We are tight on memory. I think we could probably get a third overlay in here without any trouble. If we want to be more creative, we can probably get the original 7 or 8 overlays that it came with, not the control one, but all the other ones. We could probably make them work inside of here. It's not going to let you use your old custom overlays. That code does not exist to take those old files that you have, convert them into this format. It is possible to do. It is not at the top of my priority list. And the real reason for that, if you're using custom overlays by making the driver work, you can use it on Windows. If you're using this on something like a Mac or an Android, it's mainly for access, right? It's not for learning it's not early education. It's not switch access for new students. We have solutions for that now. The reason that I care about getting this working is that we have people in the field who have used this device, have got motor memory, that have got the ability to communicate is to use this device. I want it to continue working for them, even if they're using an operating system like a Mac. That's the driver here. I'm not trying to get these to do everything that they did for early childhood. That doesn't mean that others can't. It doesn't mean I won't help them. But my driver on this was to help the people who right now are unable to communicate. And it was very tough. I'll tell you, I had a very hard time at Gate with Jefferson because I couldn't effectively communicate with him directly. I had to talk through his mother, who is a delightful woman, but it was glaringly obvious that this was not the best that he could communicate. And later I got the email from him that was just stunningly coherent and lecturing me about what I needed to do for him. And he was right. He's absolutely right. But it was hard to have that communication lost. And I could definitely see the frustration with him. So that's the motivation for this guy and why we're doing this part prioritized like this. So I hope that helps. I see a comment from Beth. What does Beth say? A couple of the key guards. Great. So yeah, if you can get me a key guard, Beth, that would be wonderful. You can bring it down when you come for ATIA. I'll be happy to play with that. I think that's all I wanted to get into. I guess the only other thing we need to mention is only 3 people took me up on the toys, the Switch adapted toys. So we still have at least 12 more. I don't want to store them. If you've got a little one in your life, really anybody from 2 to 12, we can probably find something. If you need a Switch adapted toy, I do realize we missed Christmas. That was intentional. We had to make sure that the people we had promised to got theirs. We have some leftovers. Tell us that you need them. We'll be happy to send them to you and get them out the door. I would like to do that today, tomorrow, Monday. So get them this weekend. Tell me what you need, and send me an address via private message. So I don't see any other questions. If there are any, let me know below. I will follow up over the weekend with this. And I appreciate your time. Have a great weekend. I'm very excited about this. When this worked, when I pulled the overlay and flipped it over and it worked, I was very, very happy. So I can't wait to get this into the hands of somebody who needs it. So I'll talk to you all either over the weekend or next week. And have a great weekend. Bye.